Hot day, cool car. Good afternoon from a blistering hot run of Kutch. With me today is the Ford Figo Sport Edition. Now, Ford says this is the sporty version of the Figo, which so far we frankly thought was missing a bit of Ford's magic in its dynamics department. How good is the car and does it live up to expectations? I have a few hours with it to find out. The vast openness of the run was a great starting point for the drive to Ahmedabad. Well, for obvious reasons. But the real serious driving started when we were back on tarmac. Straight up, let's get to the juicy bits of the Figo Sports Edition. The Sports Edition primarily differs from the standard Figo in its suspension. It uses McPherson struts up front and a torsion bar at the rear, but there's a beefier front anti-roll bar and the springs are stiffer all around. As a fan of the legendary Fiesta S and the last gen Fiesta, I was itching to feel the difference. And differences there are. Turn-in is sharper, grip levels are even better than the normal Figo, and Ford has also dialed in a bit of mischief into the setup. Chuck the Figo into a corner and the tail will step out a wee bit. It's enough to excite you, but not enough to scare you. And what of the steering? Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not as good as the older Fords. There is a bit of slackness at the straight ahead position, but there is more weight than the standard Figo. More heft at the steering would have been nicer, but Ford engineers involved with the transformation told us the goal was to make the car more involving to drive without compromising everyday ease of use. So it's not as hardcore as the Fiesta S was, but there are benefits. One of the highlights of the Figo Sport Edition has got to be ride comfort. Ford has managed to find a very nice compromise between ride comfort and a sporty setup. What this is the best of both worlds. So you can attack corners and body movements are well controlled. There is some amount of roll, but you can live with it. And on the rough stuff, the Figo is rather pliant. Helping ride comfort, grip levels and even steering feel are the meatier 195/55 section tires on the larger 15-inch rims. Ford hasn't made any other mechanical changes as such, and like the standard Figo, the Sports Edition cars are offered with an 88 HP 1.2-litre petrol engine and a 100 HP 1.5-litre diesel. Both engines come mated to 5-speed manual transmissions. Before you ask, the Sports Edition won't be offered with the 1.5 petrol and dual-clutch automatic gearbox option. I sampled the diesel, which is an engine I've always liked. The Figo's 1.5-litre diesel engine is a fine example of a small diesel engine done right. It's really tractable because power comes in at say about 1600 RPM or so. Following which power delivery remains linear, and when you do push the engine, it will reward you with a sufficient dose right till about 5000 RPM. Sure, it isn't the most quick revving of engines and it tends to get noisy around 3,500 RPM, but if you see it as a whole in light of the competition's engines, it is rather nice. The Figo Sports Edition is about 14 kilos heavier than the standard car, so flat-out performance should be about as good. For the record, the Figo diesel that does the 0 to 100 kph dash in 10.5 seconds is among the quicker cars in its class. Let's also quickly run through the bits that are unique to the Figo Sports Edition. There is a new honeycomb design on the front grille, while the headlamps now get a smoked effect. The standard Figo's chrome details are finished in black here, and the theme extends to the wing mirrors, roof and wheels. The larger wheels and chunkier tires give the Figo a much needed visual boost and complement the car's sporty character well. Completing the look is the nifty new roof spoiler. There's not all that much different in the Sports Edition's cabin, but the few changes do work well. This Figo's cabin follows an all-black theme, while the 3-spoke steering is now leather-wrapped and also gets sporty red stitching. There's more of the double stitching on the gear lever boot and seat fabric. A point to note is that the Sports Edition is based on the second from top titanium version of the Figo. That means you miss out on some features such as Ford's Sync infotainment system. But this version of the Figo does get a cleverly designed dock to hold your mobile phone. Auto climate control, anti-lock brakes and dual airbags are also standard. The Figo Sports Editions cost about 50,000 rupees more than the standard Figo Titanium. In effect, pricing is now at par with the better equipped top-spec Figo Titanium Plus trim cars. It is expensive if you see it in that light, but remember, what you also get for the added money is a Figo with a bit more spice. Practical, fun and better looking too, this could be an interesting alternative for the enthusiast on a budget.